It's been a while since we've seen a biannual Assassin's Creed game. The last time this occurred, it was the sizable jump from 1 to 2, and it was a significant moment for the franchise. Ubisoft is hoping to do the same with Assassin's Creed Origins, as the series has been on a downward slope over the last few years. Assassin's Creed Unity promised to be the generational leap, but ended up being a broken mess, while its successor, Syndicate, was an improvement. It failed to truly expand upon what made the series so great. Now we have Origins, a game that promises to change things up for the better, but is this the monumental leap we deserve, or has Ubisoft missed the haystack entirely? As the name implies, Assassin's Creed Origins tells the origin story of how the Brotherhood of Assassins came to be around 48 BCE. You play as Beck of Siwa, a magi who goes across the land solving various issues between the Greek and Egyptian people. That's not his main purpose though, as we're greeted to a typical Ubisoft revenge story after a shady organization kills Bayek's son. This mask-wearing group of individuals are after immense power through the ancient artifacts and will do anything to obtain it. Really, the whole gods and ancient civilization thing is more or less put in the back, as this is more about Bayek's journey and his encounters with historical figures such as Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. Bayek as a character is a little dull, having a similar demeanor as Altair. There are times when he will show a wider range of emotions, but this is through the more comical and surprisingly enjoyable side quests. As for the modern day aspect of the game, don't get too excited to learn about what happened after the events of Syndicate. While I won't spoil too much, just know that there's barely any content here to keep your interest. In fact, it feels like Ubisoft slapped this in, as there's a moment where you're meant to care about someone, but they don't properly develop her for you to feel anything. As for the story as a whole, it's a fascinating tale to see how the Brotherhood came to be, with a couple of twists and turns throughout. Now, combat has changed fairly significantly. No longer will you be waiting for parry prompts, but instead will be looking for openings and timing your strikes appropriately, similar to games such as Dark Souls. There's also a wide variety of weapons to choose from fast daggers to heavy stun-ready maces. There are even 4 different bow types, each offering a variety of different moves, be it shooting multiple arrows at once, rapid speed, or being able to control it in slow motion. The amount of customization when it comes to your combat style is expansive, and with Bayek collecting higher level items as he progresses, the game actively encourages you to try different weapons. Now, if combat isn't your thing, stealth is still a key component to Assassin's Creed Origins, as you'll be stabbing guards in the neck and sneaking through the bushes like always. The only difference with Origins compared to its predecessors is that it feels a bit slower. The animation for stealthily killing someone outside of dropping on them feels sluggish, and the lack of a second blade, while chronologically correct, is missed ever so dearly. Regardless, clearing out an entire base only to get the jump on your target has never felt so good, as the stealth mechanics as a whole still feel great. Unfortunately, one aspect of Origins that could be improved is the mission structure. While the main encounters are generally well designed, most of the side quests lack variety. They can be broken down into 3 categories: assassinations, rescue missions, and investigations. Assassinations are obviously the most entertaining, with rescue or retrieval missions being a mix, as the AI can be incredibly dumb. Just be sure to clear out the entire base before letting them free. And investigation missions get old very quickly after the 30th time, as you search for clues about what happened in an area. Ubisoft also seems to shoehorn one of these into every quest, as there was one really sad mission where you just wanted to take everything in, but instead you were randomly assigned a task to kill someone. Now, with that said, while the mechanics can get repetitive, the stories are surprisingly entertaining. There's a huge array of side quests with interesting individuals and encounters, from a group fighting over a ring, Lord of the Rings style, to a washed up fighter looking to make a buck. Because of how the campaign is set up, where there's level restrictions on main quest, these don't feel like a grind like other games out there. Instead, they're an enjoyable part of the experience. There's an incredible amount of content here, not to mention chariot races and gladiator fights, and being it took us 27 hours to complete the main campaign and there was still a slew of side missions to complete, this can last you a while. Now we have to talk about the visuals. We were able to play through the entire game on Xbox One X, and we were completely floored. The game dramatically benefits from the 4K resolution and improved graphical options, not to mention the load times are much better than on a base system. The world is just massive for an Assassin's Creed game, which is around 14 square kilometers, and contains a variety of beautiful scenery. With that said, it's not all great, as the asset streaming and lower resolution textures in the distance become visibly disappointing at times. It's not only hundreds of meters away either, as there were times when characters were right next to me and they reverted back to their lower poly model. Regardless, Assassin's Creed Origins is visually impressive, even with these flaws. Giving Assassin's Creed Origins an extra year of development was the right choice. It's bigger, better, and more robust than ever. For better or for worse, you will find elements of Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, and The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt here. The newly revamped combat system is engaging, and the side quests are surprisingly worth your time. There are still problems with Assassin's Creed as a whole though, as the traversal is still clumsy, the mission structure can get repetitive, and the AI can either be overly aggressive or just plain dumb. We also wish the modern day content would have been better expanded upon, as it almost feels slapped on. Still, Ubisoft has crafted a massive world ripe for adventure, and is significantly better than anything we've got over the last 4 years. If you were looking for a proper evolution of the formula, Assassin's Creed Origins is just that. As always, if you like this review, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Otherwise, for everything gaming related, head on over to hardcoregamer.com for your fix.